of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Lake Barrington. It is Tuesday, December 5, 2023. Happy holidays, everybody. It is 7:12 p.m. We're starting a little late. I spent the time before the meeting tonight talking to a Cub Scout pack across the hall there in the community room, fifth grade boys, and I was a Cub Scout. Of course, dinosaurs were roaming the earth, and it was a delight. Wonderful young men and very dedicated and devoted dads. So we got a little behind for that, for my apologies. Chair would like the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Burke?
Here.
Trustee Hayes?
Here.
Trustee Perkins?
Here.
Trustee Schaller?
Here.
Trustee Schalmoser?
Here.
Trustee Van Ryn? Here. And President Richardson?
Yes, we have a full house tonight. That's nice. The agenda item 3 is Pledge of Allegiance. Would you all rise and join me in the pledge to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda item 4 this evening is approval of the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting from November 7, 2023. Are there questions or edits for the clerk or the administrator on the minutes? There being none, Chair would like a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting from November 7, 2023. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
By Scheller, may I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you both, gentlemen. Clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Schaller?
Yes.
Trustee Hayes?
Yes.
Trustee Burke?
Yes.
Trustee Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee Schalmoser?
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn? Yes. President Richardson?
Yes, Chair will also ask unanimous consent that the record remain open for a period of 5 calendar days for purposes of any necessary technical and conforming amendments without objection, so ordered. Agenda item 5, President's Remarks. Just a couple of things. We've got some guests here tonight, and after President's Remarks will be the first opportunity for the public to address the board on non-agenda items. Correct, Sharon?
Yes.
Thank you. Steve Ramos from LRS is here. Welcome, Steve. I think our growing pains are behind us, and I am delighted to say that. Your guys were very diligent. I was very pleased. You know, my wife has a heart problem, and so lugging the heavy cans sometimes is a problem, and it's nice because the guy had already said if there's a problem when I'm not home, to let him know, and he'll come up and get the can.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Turn on the microphone.
Yeah. So, Steve, we're happy for any update, and then what we'll do is go around and have trustees get a chance to ask any questions they might want to ask.
Please, please. So address first?
Yes, please.
Well, you said, start with, I think the growing pains are, we've gotten through some of them. There were some hiccups in the beginning. Probably could have done a little bit better on some communication as far as residents choosing their carts. I think that was the biggest problem, that they didn't go online or make a phone call to make those elections. So that's where we really had to pivot, get some inventory and get things swapped out or even delivered for residents. But again, I think the growing pains we're past them, and we should just continue to go forward here positively. So.
Wonderful. We appreciate the collaboration, so I'm happy to begin on my left with Trustee Schalmoser for any questions.
Thank you for your accountability, and nothing at this point. Thank you.
Trustee Van Ryn.
Thanks for being here, Steve. I know sometimes change takes time. Appreciate your partnership and collaboration with us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Trustee Burke.
Yeah, hi, Steve here from remotely. Appreciate your guys' efforts through all this and in ongoing conversations with staff. While we've all acknowledged that a change of this magnitude after many years will never be perfect, and we admit probably there's some culpability across a few areas, and we can get better. But I think the overriding thing I heard from staff was that you and all of your staff and your people were very committed dedicated and open to addressing the issues that were arising as they arose. So we're all allowed to make mistakes. It's how we recover from those, and I think that you and your team did a nice job, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Terrific. Trustee Schaller.
Thank you, President Richardson. Yeah, obviously, I think both the LBS office and the Village Hall got inundated with questions and concerns, especially about the cart swapping, what I wanted, what I didn't get. And I think those calls have been reduced.
Yes, they have. Starting last week, all the calls have been reduced a lot.
Yeah. I know I tried to call a couple times the number that was given to me, and I think I put in 3 times. I got an email back that said it would be. I'm still waiting for the right cart, but I think in most cases, it's all basically been resolved. One of the big trucks can't make it to one of our roundabouts. He's backing back down the street, so I'm sure that's a challenge.
It is.
How your trucks, but the timing-wise and the collection seems to be good. Just one question. I got some confusion on yard waste. Are we still doing next year yard waste stickers through you, or is that not part of the agreement?
They're through us, actually, we sell them here at the Village Hall.
Right.
And then there's 2 stores, one is like a mower place and the other is...
Our real estate office.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those 2. And they purchase them actually from you guys. So there's
No, but that process is still, I thought there was some confusion as to whether or not that was not going to be part of the deal, but it
No.
is.
Oh, Lake Barrington Shores, though, that's right. So Lake Barrington Shores, there's no yard waste pickup there because you guys have landscapers.
That's the question. So we have had it before, are we no longer having it now?
No.
That was under our, John, as I understand it, our landscape contracts at LBS, that they picked up our landscaping.
Your landscape contractors actually go around, I'm sorry, thank you, President Richardson. The landscape contractors for LBS actually go around on, I believe it's Fridays.
Mondays.
Mondays now? Okay, sorry. That they'll go around once a week during that season and we'll pick up.
During that season, because obviously they're not there until April again now.
That's right, John. It's only a certain time of the year.
Yeah.
I guess we can get the answer for everybody here, but LBS was never part of the original proposal because our contractors there at LBS took care of that for the LBS.
They didn't in the past.
Well, they are now. So
Yeah, okay. I want to clarify, so for people to come in and looking for yard waste stickers from LBS, we tell them you don't need a yard waste sticker, that's part of LBS.
I had the same thoughts, and I think we can get a communication out inside LBS to, make people understand what that is.
Yeah, okay, all right, just an understanding, you don't have to do it anymore. But you do pick up one large piece of whatever once a week.
Correct, right, a bulk, that's what we call
Yeah,
it.
and sometimes people abuse that and put out everything in the house.
Right, right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Perkins.
Well, I will tell you, our neighborhood was seamless. It was smooth sailing, and yeah, the trash bins they are so much lighter, right? So nice. I think that a month, maybe 2. I think that is a fantastic switchover.
That's good. Thank
With getting everyone, if it takes 2 months, it does, but that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
To get everything right, so,
Appreciate that.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Trustee Hayes.
Life's never perfect, and I think overall, it's how you being here tonight says a lot too. So thanks for working through the issues, as Andy said, and I think also I used your electronics recycling center up in Waconda.
Okay, yeah.
I had TV, I didn't know how to get rid of it, because you can't throw it on the curb, and that made it easy. So your electronics recycling is an easy thing to do too, and I was happy to go through that. So thanks for what you're doing.
Good, thank you.
Terrific. Well, one of the things I learned, and I've been in this job a long time, and I still learn new things, often to my chagrin, but apparently part of the problem that we had to address was not everybody in the village had their home on the master pickup list. And so a lot of the people who were frustrated by that circumstance is because you were picking up to the addresses on the list. And that has apparently been going on for some time inadvertently, unintentionally. So Andy, I think you've worked on this a little bit, if you want to comment, but I think our list matches your list.
Should.
I think that's, yeah.
Yes, it should. Whenever we would get a complaint, we would record it, we would look at the list, we would send it to LRS, and we would indicate to LRS, this was something that was not on our list. However, it is now. So we have an updated list, which is also the list for the newsletter, so that will be accurate for our next newsletter for everybody that people may have never received newsletters, and now they will suddenly be getting the newsletters. So it was one of those things that it took time to do that.
Learn something new every day. Any closing comments, Steve, that you'd like to make?
You know, I do want to thank you again for choosing us, right? And it'll be a continual process, and we'll continue to build that relationship and iron out the wrinkles. But we'll always be there. There'll always be that point of contact. We do want to be customer service orientated. There will be some times, right now, we've had 3 weeks of, and I'll just disclose this, is that, once there's a bug in the office, like it goes like wildfire. And so it's going around, and that's where sometimes the hold, and we're talking about phone calls that they hold too long, but we try to stay ahead of that, but, and transfer calls to other divisions and things like that. But, yeah, there will be hiccups, but we will try to resolve them as fast as possible.
Marvelous, thank you. Okay, thank you, Steve. Have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful holiday.
Happy holidays, everybody.
God bless.
Thanks again.
Okay, agenda item 5.2, Brandon Losey. And say the first name of your company.
It's Alluvium,
Alluvium.
and you got my last name correct, so I appreciate that.
Okay, so Alluvium, tell me about where that name comes from.
So alluvial soil, or alluvium, is
okay.
some of the most fertile soil on Earth. It's kind of where like a river or stream would meet a larger body of water.
Okay.
So it's sort of visually very stunning, and just kind of, we thought it was a beautiful word, so.
We're delighted to have you with us, and we're happy to hear what you have to.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity to come before the board. We're just interested in exploring any opportunities that might exist for the property located at 22375 North Pepper Road. I guess I'll just start off with telling you a little bit more about myself and then my company, and then why we're interested in the property. I was born at Good Shepherd Hospital, raised in Cary. Now I live in Barrington with my wife, who also went to Cary Grove, and we have 2 young daughters who just started preschool and kindergarten. My right-hand man here, Chris, also lives in Barrington in Tower Lakes. So yeah, kind of been here my whole life. I went to Iowa State for landscape architecture. And then started my career off really just trying to change the landscape industry. And by that, I came home after getting a 5-year degree in landscape architecture, and all my family thought I was going to mow their lawns. So just trying to shift the perception that landscapers are like loud, noisy, polluting, chemicals, hazardous type things, to be something more ecologically focused, something more sustainable, community-driven, that type of thing. So that's really what we're trying to do with Alluvium. We really want to be a huge part of the Barrington community. We already are. We're doing a lot of work for the high school and for the Barrington Hills Country Club, and we've done a lot of work with Barrington Area Conservation Trust through the years, Citizens for Conservation. So really have embedded ourselves, and then after Chris and I sort of combined our 2 networks, we've just been growing like crazy without a home. We have no shop. So that brings us to this property. We're looking for a home. We're looking for a home in Barrington. I've been driving past that site for the last 15 years, and it's been sitting abandoned, and it just seems like a perfect opportunity for us to take that piece of property and really invest a lot of time and energy and money and love and creativity to make something special. And I realize that in the comprehensive plan that it's been deemed that it's more suited like as residential. I think there's a strong argument to the contrary, that it's sort of within that Pepper Park industrial complex, I would call it. But all of that's to say we're looking to be very respectful neighbors, and we're not developers trying to install like a car wash or something.
Well, and we appreciate you coming in. Kind of for your benefit, the process is rezoning would be considered by our Plan Commission, but we have invited for 20 years developers or business people to come in and share a concept, which is what you've done tonight. I note for the board, I'm looking on Google Earth right now, it's the old Sokola property. There is a swimming pool company to the east of it on Pepper, right before the bend, PJ's Pools. And then it's across the street from Doring, which is an allied business in a similar SIC or NAICS code. So, I typically bat last, but I'll bat first this time just because I'm looking at the map on Google Earth, that since you would be in a business very similar, I would presume, to Doring. It wouldn't do necessarily, if you came in and you said you wanted to put a Costco or a Walmart there, as much as I'd like the sales tax, I'd have to say, no, it doesn't fit.
Right.
So what you're not talking, in my view, what you're talking about is not beyond the pale. So we'll go around and let people ask questions, as is our way. And I'll start with Trustee Burke, who's here electronically tonight.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, a question about that property. Is this property for sale? Is it something, I wasn't even aware that it was being sold.
Yeah, it's really been in limbo for maybe 20 years. They tried to sell it, and it was really being pitched as a commercial, industrial type opportunity. Right. When it was an unincorporated site. Then they really lowered the price. I think they've just sort of given up on it because I don't think they imagine anybody's going to come in and pay what they want to build a house within that more industrial area. So I don't think they're very motivated, but it is for sale. They're accepting offers. So
Okay. No, I know it'd been on and off with them for a very, very long time, and they'd had some grand plans that they had come in and proposed on a few cases, and I feel like maybe there's been some other interest over the years, right? But nothing ever happened because the sellers weren't motivated. So, I would agree with President Richardson when I look at the map here and think to myself, it's far more likely that someone's going to want to put in a like business there. You'd be sandwiched between Doring and PJ's Pools. And I'm not sure I'd want to build a house there either. So if we can get an added amenity and a great company like yours there, my sense is that I would be very supportive of that. So thanks for being in tonight and sharing your plans with us.
thank you.
And Brandon, just for your benefit, before I yield to Trustee Van Ryn, the comments you hear tonight are absolutely non-binding.
Yeah.
They're informative.
Right.
But they're not binding. The process is a petitioner, like you or any business owner, submits a petition to the Plan Commission and goes through a series of public hearings.
Okay.
And that series of public hearings creates a record of decision. Upon that record of decision, the Plan Commission makes a recommendation to approve with amendment, or reject. And then the Board of Trustees serves in an appellate capacity, kind of like an appellate court. We don't retry the trial court's case. We simply say they did it right or they didn't do it right.
Right.
So the benefit of this is if there's a clear mismatch, if you wanted to put a Superfund site in there, we'd have to say, going to have some tough sledding. It doesn't fit with our comprehensive plan and our vision as an oasis of gracious countryside living. So the real work will come when should you decide to move forward with the Plan Commission, and then when they've finished their deliberations and voted, one way or the other, they send it to us, and we either affirm their decision, or we overrule their decision, or we reject their decision. Now, what's the word I'm looking? I should know this. I went to law school.
You're correct. When you have thank you, President Richardson. When you're finished, I would like to.
Sure. So I just want you to know tonight is directional at best.
Right. Yeah, I need to know if we need to pivot. If we should go down this road.
Yeah, no, and that's what this is to give you. We had a case not far from there, further down Kelsey Road. This was 25 years ago, where people went through they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on a potential project that they had been told by the Planning Commission, and it got overturned, and it was ugly. That's when Miss Alexopoulos' dad and I spent a lot of time together, because he's the other village attorney we have, and we don't ever want to do that to anybody again. So we like to give people the courtesy of a heads up one way or the other, so
Yeah.
thank you. I'm happy to yield to trustee Van Ryn for questions.
Thank you, President Richardson. Brandon, thanks for coming in tonight. I'm curious, what would you say is your differentiator? What makes your landscaping company unique?
So from being in the industry so long and being a part of ILCA, which is like our professional organization, and then being at other companies, nothing existed that was all-encompassing where you could, like one day, like bringing Chris on board was huge because he comes from like a land stewardship restoration type background. I have more of like a conventional, I can do everything from construction to native plant design to organic fertilizing type thing. But no one is able to execute on a high level with both of those. And so we can go to a property and one day we have a crew doing a prescribed burn while the other crew's installing a bluestone patio, and they're both at a very high level. And I think that's our huge advantage that we have, so.
Nice. You had a lot of diversity, it sounds like.
Yeah, a diverse skill set that I think is within the future of the landscape industry, where it needs to head, really, so.
Excellent. Well, as President Richardson mentioned, our brand is an oasis of gracious countryside living, so it sounds like you could definitely contribute to that. As our brand committee lead, I have a favor to ask. If you do go into business here, on your business card, if you could say you're in Lake Barrington.
For sure.
We like to differentiate ourselves that way, so thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Trustee Schallmoser.
Thanks for coming out. Looking on Google Earth, what it looks like it needs a lot of TLC, that property. You said you wanted to beautify it.
Yeah.
2, 3 things. What would you do? Would you be doing it yourself? Would you work with the developer to build it out?
Yeah, so I went and looked with our realtor, and the house, I think a coyote had definitely dragged a goose inside of it and eaten it. So the house was looking a little sad, but some of the outbuildings were actually kind of interesting and looked like something we could probably restore and utilize. But the house, I'm going to assume, is a tear down, and then there's also a huge in-ground pool in the back of that thing. So that'll have to be addressed. Our guys are super capable, so I would, we'd do a lot of sort of the land work and stuff like that, and then I was thinking we'd buy or purchase some sort of modular type structure, something more modern and efficient if we needed like a shop. But I think depends on what the initial investment with the loan, the SBA loan that I'm applying for right now, how much money we'd have to put into the initial infrastructure. But I'm assuming $100,000 demolition of the house is part of that.
So if I could
Please.
interject for a moment. Just as a reminder, as you're making these comments for due process considerations, this board is the decider after it would go to the ZBA. That property, as it's currently zoned, is R5, which means it's the largest, 5-acre residential where it currently is at. And there's a lot of wetland on the property. It is not part of the water and sewer that was provided for, that was across the street and adjacent to that property that was part of SSA number 3 so many years ago that President Richardson will be very familiar with. So it would require water and it would require well and septic. And given the wetlands, there might be some challenges with actually getting a septic field in there.
Well, that'll be the province of the Plan Commission.
Right, so I just want to put some of those things
For your
out
benefit,
there.
there may be challenges with the property.
And so when you consider and you go for it, and you have every, right to proceed and petition the ZBA for zoning variations relative to the property or zoning text amendment to change the zoning of the property, but all those things would have to be considered during that public hearing and then later considered by the board too as well.
Well, yeah, the board would read the record of decision and then vote on it based on the record of decision. We had a case, Brandon, also many years ago, where a developer for multifamily townhome, and it was outside of the business district, so there was no water and sewer. It was well and septic, and it did border wetlands, and there was a devil of a time. They couldn't get their density that they wanted in a way that respected the setbacks and provided adequate capacity. And there was a lot of hurt feelings there, too. So I think what the council's trying to point out is simply when you approach the Plan Commission, just be aware that those issues may be looming for you to reconcile and address with the Plan Commission.
If there's already an existing system, because obviously somebody was occupying that property at one point, you can't utilize that or...
It is not connected to water and sewer.
So it couldn't remain well and septic?
No, it could, conceivably. I mean, we're the wrong people to have that conversation with. That's a Plan Commission conversation. We've had people make proposals over the years that would include things like a hookup charge,
Yeah.
if they're immediately proximate to the existing special service area. But we want to respect the process and the jurisdictional authority of the Plan Commission. So great point by council, just for your consideration as you go forward. I continue to like the concept of your business because there's one across the street, so for residents, it's not a shocking departure. So, Trustee Schallmoser, did you? Okay. Trustee Hayes.
Yeah, I'd step out for a moment. No questions, I'm good. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Trustee Perkins.
Well, I think we've covered a lot here on this. We didn't cover was, did you say you went to Iowa State?
I did.
Go Cyclones, so did I. That's all, I mean, yeah. But I married a Hawkeye.
Oh, jeez.
Wah, wah.
I sit next to a Jayhawk.
Yeah, I think it would be a fantastic thing. I don't know, maybe all of this business is up here for me. So I wish you luck, and I hope maybe we can find another spot for you, Andy.
Yeah, if you guys have any other ideas.
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
open.
I think it's a great idea, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, everywhere we've been looking, it's just, they do want those big fancy developments to happen on a lot of these open commercial sites in Barrington, which I understand, so, yeah.
Trustee Schaller.
Thank you, President Richardson. You didn't go to Notre Dame? Neither did I. It was an uphill bit. Obviously, it sounds like the ultimate would be a better use of that particular piece of property, and obviously, I think that's something that the entire board would be interested in, but again, as been pointed out, it's where you go with the Plan Commission. What is, you posed the question of extending the service, is that an option, a possibility, since during?
I believe there's restrictions that it is not something that can be extended.
Okay.
There's something listed on one of the brochures about getting into the Fox River Grove Sewer and Water District.
And I want to be careful again, I'm not trying to be elusive, but you're really asking the Plan Commission questions, and so, and she will be sitting in those meetings too, so, or her dad will be, so you'll have a chance to inquire on that. This process, and I'm grateful for you doing this, because we don't want to waste anybody's time or money. If it's a clear misfit vis-a-vis our strategic vision and our comprehensive plan, we want you to know you always have a right to file and put forth your best case. And you will get a decision on the merits based on the record and nothing more than the record. It's out of courtesy to, I mean, a lot of us up here are in business and we know the demands. I run my own, so I'm sensitive to what you go through. We've had people ask about off-track betting and video poker, and we've had to say, no, thank you. It's fine for some communities, and that's everybody's decision, but it's not something for us. So
that's why I felt it was worth taking the time.
I'm delighted you came in for it. So if there's no further questions, I hope that should you choose to proceed, that you'll have a meaningful conversation and come to terms with the Plan Commission.
Excellent, thank you, appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Kevin, it's Andy. I've got a follow-up.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Andy.
Being that I do chair the Economic Development Committee, Brandon, I think it's something where I would offer, the other thing I would offer, I mean, going from us to the Plan Commission is like 0 to 100. I still think there's another half a step where, as a courtesy, with Administrator Peterson and myself and the staff member and often a few others, we can give you some more coaching in some cases, you don't know what you don't know, right? Things like sewer and septic. So I think what we can do is sit down and have a meaningful conversation, informal once again, and talk you through. You can talk us through your very rough site plan. We can talk you through some of the challenges and some of the things that you'll have to consider, like setbacks and other things that could ultimately come into play, sewer, water, et cetera. So wetlands delineation, so on and so forth. So I think there is an opportunity, if you have real intent and energy to continue to pursue this, that we have another conversation prior to seeking an audience with the Plan Commission.
Yeah, no, I'd appreciate that. So would it be reaching out to you directly after, or back to Sharon? Okay.
Yep, to Sharon. You can reach out to Sharon, and we will set something up if you're interested in all getting together and having another chat.
Definitely.
Okay, thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brandon, thanks so much. We can move to 5.3. Our good friend from the Barrington Chamber of Commerce, Suzanne Cork, please come forward. Haven't seen you for a while, have you been?
Yeah, very good, very good. In fact, I just sent you an email about the Economic Summit, so. Well, thank you all for having me, Suzanne Corr, Barrington Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here tonight just to give you a little bit more detail about the new BACC Lake Barrington Retail Merchants Association program and partnership that we have entered into together. And I do have a couple of handouts, so is it okay if I just kind of give you a bunch of stuff here, and you can a lot of emails.
I tested twice today for COVID, and I'm negative. This is just a cold. I tested for COVID. I wouldn't be here if that wasn't the case.
So you're getting some materials there, and this talks about the new partnership program, and the whole idea was it's an investment in the marketing and prosperity of the village of Lake Barrington, and the purpose of the program is really to enhance the destination marketing of the Lake Barrington area as kind of a go-to for unique boutiques, resales, and vintage shops. And that is really vitally important because destination marketing is a worthwhile activity, and we weren't really able to do that before because we had such low membership here, but now our membership has increased through this program. But that destination marketing is vital because it really does signal to outsiders and surrounding communities that this is a place to go, you know, to spend time and to enjoy and explore. And it's critical for putting the area on the map. We have similar programs like this with the Village of Barrington for the downtown area, with Long Grove, so all of the Long Grove merchants, and the Village of South Barrington for the Arboretum of South Barrington. So we have similar destination program partnerships with them as well. So this kind of started with, we entered into this in May, and one of the first things we did was we started to try to get together and pull together the Lake Barrington merchants so that we could meet over some Zoom meetings. We've had one. I'm trying to think if we had, we may have had two already, but, and the whole idea is we have to get everybody communicating. You've got a bunch of merchants that don't even know what each other is doing, and, aren't doing a very good job of spreading the word of what they're doing. So we had a merchant Zoom meeting, and that was one of the first flyers that you have a copy of, and so we kind of tried to explain to them, that we were going to start doing this destination marketing for their area, and it's an opportunity, for them to share more of their news, for us to share more of what's going on, and for us also to, spend staff time, dollars, and resources in, doing some marketing programs here. So we did pull them together, and one of the very first things that we did work on was the Pepper Park Fest, and that we coordinated that on the same day as a lot of other things that were going on. There was, I think the Barn Fest was going on at All-American Reclaim, and then the fire district had, their open house. And I want to say that the result that day, what we did was we brought in a bunch of vendors, and we put them in Angel parking lot. And it was just an opportunity to kind of signal that there was something going on in the area, but the collaborative marketing of us kind of adding this event on top of everything else that was going on, I want to say, we noticed a lot of traffic going up and down Pepper Road, a lot of traffic in the area that day. The feedback that we got from the merchants was that they really had great sales that day. They had a lot of new people. There was a lot of kids' activities. I was just saying to Chief, we were up by Angel Water, and we saw tons of people that came there, and they all had the fire district bags from the open house. So everybody was just playing off everybody, and I know it really was actually the same weekend as Art in the Barn, but to me, it was kind of like, okay, one more thing to drive by. We're already out for the afternoon. I think it was fairly effective. It was a good place to start, and I know that we'll, do that again and hopefully collaborate and fall on the same day, as all these other events. My only thing is that we might want to consolidate it. That's the challenge, I think, with doing anything on that Pepper Road area, is the fact that it is so spread out, and it might be a little better for us to maybe consolidate the vendors kind of in that lot or something across from, say, Pepper Park Coffee, where the bulk of activity is going on. And then, we actually invested in signage that day to send people down, like industrial and commercial and stuff like that, and say that there were more things going on. So I do think overall, with everybody collaborating and promoting it, that it did turn out pretty well, and so now we'll see what happens, next year. The other thing that we've done is, you may have
Suzanne, she's coming over because your microphone continues to go on and off, and that's a technical problem, it's not a Suzanne problem. So we'll just suggest you move over, because that one seems to be working. I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
Oh, no, that's totally okay.
That way Andy can hear on the telephone, and that helps a lot.
Is this better?
Yeah, you don't have to lean up.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So we do have this on the calendar, and I want to say that we already have like 10 stops registered to participate. Our goal is to maybe have, boost it up to about 15, 12 or 15. But that will be a ticketed event. We will manage it. The check-in point will be Greater Chicago Kitchen and Bath, and at that stop, the attendees will get, a mug that's filled with kind of a packet of hot cocoa. But the point is to actually give them an event where they have to travel around in the community, visit very specific, stores and shops, and, they get some free warm drink, whatever that might be. And, encouraging the merchants and everybody else to have giveaways or to have a coupon. Like Wild Onion signed up to do it, Pepper Park Coffee signed up to do it. Let's see, even on the outskirts too, because it's not always, you have some other retailers that are on Northwest Highway. So Dibby, the new Bent Vintage, Creative M Studio, Kate Marker, Home, Angelina Warehouse, Selectioner, Winterberry Company's Wildest Garrigus, Wild Onion. They're all registered already to be part of it. So, what we are kind of looking is for a sponsor to help cover the cost of the mug, because that'll be a big expense. But, it's an opportunity for somebody's logo to be identified on that. But the whole idea of that is just to bring more people into the area. And the one thing I wanted to show you, if you go to page 69 in the new guide, this is what I'm talking about when I say destination marketing. In the past, so now the shopping and shops at Pepper Park, we list everybody that's a retail and restaurant. In the past, we only had 2 or 3 listings under that. But that's what this program has done. It's about focusing on creating a destination area that people might want to go and explore. So they'll benefit. We do 2 printed publications a year, so you guys will benefit from that heavier, listing in these printed publications. And I actually ran off, I strongly encourage all of you guys, well, number one, like our Facebook page for the chamber, but, check out our website. Our website, well, already we've probably got the Cocoa Crawl will be listed very soon, but for instance, we published and promoted the Pepper Park Fest on that. But when you go to our directory and you punch in Shops of Pepper Park, all of these businesses come up with their logos and everything, and the links to their own individual websites. So again, this is kind of what that destination marketing results in. And then the other thing, I wanted to let you know that Jennifer Hissa from Greater Chicago Kitchen and Bath is actually joining our board. She'll be, as of 2024, so she will be on our board. And, it's kind of nice then to have that liaison and that, input from the Pepper Park area. But, she's been noticing, and we've been noticing too, the trend that you really have a good amount of home decor design businesses. And so we're talking about, maybe in the future we could do something like a design walk in the area as well, which again would be, making Lake Barrington be like, oh, you're doing something for your home, let's spend an afternoon in Lake Barrington. So that's really the purpose of all these events, and the marketing is to, create that destination, that desire to go, to want to go somewhere and spend an afternoon and know that there's more there than just, 1 or 2 places. So I think so far, that we've had some good results from what we're putting together. I think, 10 people already signing up for the Cocoa Crawl is a good sign. I think we'll see how that goes. Our target will be, maybe sell 100 tickets, but, it's the kind of a thing that we'd like to see maybe 200 or 300 people attend. And think about the economic impact of, even bringing 100 people into, Lake Barrington for one afternoon, going around visiting the stores and the boutiques, or, dining in the area. The whole purpose is to result in income spent here. That's kind of the concept behind these programs. So we really appreciate this partnership. So if you have any questions.
Suzanne, you do, I'm active with the U.S. Chamber and have been for many years, and I've worked with chambers everywhere in my consulting practice. You really do a nice job, and your enthusiasm is wonderfully contagious. Sometimes viruses are pernicious, but in this case, this is a wonderful virus, and I hope you sneeze on everybody. How is the local economy, when you talk to your members, how are they feeling about the future of 2024? Are they pessimistic, neutral, guarded, cautious, or optimistic, or is it a mix?
I would say guarded. I'll be honest with you. We all saw the kind of disappointing news this week. 2 big restaurants in the Barrington area, McGonigal's and now Domenico's, both closing. Clark's Bakery is closed now, but that was really a retirement thing. His daughters didn't want to take over the business. Matthew had told us he was heading to Ireland on vacation, and then he either never came back, or he just decided mentally not to come back, and then the decision came out. And then there's, we've seen another boutique out in North Barrington, a New You. They've been doing it for 6 years, and they're retiring and closing that store as well. I was on the phone with Katie from Angelina, the social design warehouse and stuff like that, and she's had a very tough year, a very, very tough year, and even her her Black Friday sales were probably, she said, 40-something below what they were the year before, and she has retail friends all across the country as well as in the area, and everybody has seen a decline in retail. And that's one of the things that we got to keep plugging things like this, because everything trends. And yeah, if there's a downturn right now, everyone, small retail is very concerned about online shopping, but things will trend. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to get through these ups and downs. And, and that's why we as a chamber empathize with that, and we just keep pushing and plugging along to make sure that they have as many opportunities as possible, and that we do actual events that actually bring people in that result in dollars spent on that day. I mean, that's kind of what happens with the Barrington Wine Walks. That's an event that we don't, in the blink of an eye, we don't even have to hardly promote it. We sell almost 400 tickets for that, and everybody's walking around in downtown Barrington drinking and buying. And the drinking may have something to do with the buying. But anyway, I mean, it's, the result of that event is bringing people into the community from, your neighborhoods as well as surrounding neighborhoods to explore, to get ideas for coming back and shopping, but on that day to be spending money there that day. So, I would say, I think we could all agree, it's kind of a tough time for small business and small retailers. It's very hard to compete with the ease and comfort of online shopping, from home. And so that's why these places need to focus on experiences, creating experiences, and that's what events and this kind of marketing does, is, help create experiences.
Well, some years ago in a charity context over there, we shattered the records because the mayor sat in a dunking booth. And the line went down Route 14 to Arlington Heights. And it was October, and I was about as blue as it's going to get. And there were two distinct categories: people who didn't like me, the primary category, and then kids who just thought it was hilarious to throw rocks at me. But at least they did it for something other than zoning decisions. So I think destination marketing is fabulous. Teresa she's our head of branding and communications. She's got great flair and instincts for this. Andy, as you know, is chair of our economic development. If you have concepts or ideas that you've never tried but occur to you, the welcome mat is out. We would be happy to experiment and try something. I'm going to make my lawyer here to my left a little nervous. Because you're a nonprofit, you can serve alcohol on a one-off basis for an event. And I want to be darn careful not to misspeak. You can hit me. But, if serving wine or a glass of champagne helps with the destination event, as long as you're the host, and it's part of multiple businesses. If you go where the antiques folks are in that little strip, and a couple of the car repair folks and the body shop guys, you could put a tent in the middle there on a Saturday or Sunday. Please don't be angry with me. But the point is, whether that works or not, nothing is outside the box for us in terms of this, because what we're seeing, and Therese, we know a lot about retail because our day job company is really involved in retail, is there are a couple of things that in-person shopping still does. I can actually see it and picture it, and I can feel it and touch it, and that is still a significant value add, especially if you can differentiate it with destination events.
Right.
So what I'd like to do is go around and give everybody a chance, and I'll start with our Economic Development Chair, who's in by the phone, Andy Burke.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, Suzanne. Thanks for being there. Sorry I couldn't be there in person
Thanks for having me.
tonight, but I really do appreciate you coming. You gave a great presentation. I agree with President Richardson. Your enthusiasm is contagious, and I really felt that the board would benefit greatly knowing that we've entered into this agreement with you, that, I'm thrilled with the work that you've done on our behalf. And I love that we got into the economic discussion. Pretty much this discussion is stealing my entire report on economic development for this month. But that's fine, because I'm a little hoarse, and it will save me another report. But, you mentioned the closing of the Manicos, you mentioned the closing of McGonagall's, and the reality of it is that these are challenging times, and they remain challenging times. And we as the village understand that we have a role and a responsibility to play in all this. And that's why we made the investment with you, because really we heard the Pepper Park businesses loudly and clearly, and other retailers saying they're looking for more ways to be supported. And you're a great conduit for that. So to echo chairman's words. You know, as you get ideas and as our retailers come to you and say, wouldn't it be nice if the village could help us get something like this done? You know, please make sure that that information is reaching us, because we're open for business, and our first priority is to our existing businesses, and we tell them that all the time. And we know it's a fine line, you know, between them being successful and them closing their doors. It doesn't take a lot to tilt that playing field to their disadvantage. So I think this is one way we have the advantage. You can help be our eyes and ears, and therefore, please provide that feedback, and please continue doing the great work that you do. So thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Trustee Manheim.
Thank you, President Richardson. Suzanne, it's so nice to have you here, and I could not agree more with what has already been said. I love to go to all the grand openings that happen, and you and your team do an amazing job organizing all the ribbon cuttings. You really bring that sense of community to all the work you do with us, and we truly appreciate it, so thank you so much.
Trustee Schalmoser.
Thank you, President Richardson. Thank you so much for all your time and help. I've been to a couple ribbon cuttings myself over the years, and it's great to have you here, so thank you for all you do.
Trustee Hayes.
Yeah, no, I echo everybody's sentiments, and I do believe what is lost on America is the experience of, like you pointed out, touching and feeling. And I love this idea and what you've done with that, and I think the more of that you can do, the more you'll get people out of their shells. You think of the death of the mall, right? You know, people still have a need to connect, and this is a way to connect in different ways. So I applaud what you're doing. Nice job.
Trustee Perkins.
Thank you, President Richardson. Thank you for being here. This is all very interesting. And I just want to extend a hand. I'm in charge of open spaces and special events. And if there's anything that I could help you with, this is kind of a slow time of year, so I'm more than willing to help out if you, you know, I love planning events.
I feel like, you know, we could go a lot of places with Pepper Park Fest. So, you know, I mean, you know, we just kind of kicked it off.
Yeah.
And so now it's about, like, how do we make that better? How do we make it easier to kind of get around? How do we get people to maybe spend a little bit more time, you know, in the area? So, yeah, absolutely, you know, ideas and input, you know.
Yes, please reach out.
Yeah.
Trustee Schaller.
Thank you, President Richardson. Yeah, I think it's interesting how chambers have evolved over the years, and I've been on chamber boards and was involved with diplomats a number of years ago with the Barrington Chamber. How it used to be business after hours and monthly luncheons, and that seemed to be the main activity the chambers had. And now the focus to get involved, I mean, you've gotten very involved in events. This is fantastic to get merchants together. I mean, you've got a wide variety of members that are part of the chambers, from professional people to businesses, but the businesses is extremely important, and I applaud you for reaching out and doing this, the Pepper Park and all the other events that you do in Barrington with the car shows and the wine walks and various other things. It's community, and unlike many other places, community, I think, is extremely important here as well as in this entire Barrington area. And I thank you for what you're doing, and as I think for the entire board, it's anything we can do to further promote and support what you do with that. I've likewise gone to a number of the ribbon cutting ceremonies, and it's neat to have it, and hopefully the merchants will appreciate it and buy into it and do a little bit more to entice more people to get involved in it. But thank you, Suzanne.
You're
Did a
welcome.
great
And
job.
please know, everybody is invited to those. I know I have a certain number of emails, and so I, you know, share it with all of you and attend. We do a lot of good publicity and follow-up, because we shoot video, we post it on social media and our website. We do a follow-up press release for all new businesses, and that very often gets picked up by the local media, and then we usually send the clip to the businesses as well. And I did want to mention too that also right now we have like a promotion going on. I mean, we're so dedicated to as many ways as we possibly can investing in our own merchants, and so we do have a kind of a gift local giveaway, you know, promotion going on right now, Spread the Cheer Here, and we're encouraging people, if you like our Facebook page, follow it, and then, post Spread the Cheer Here. We are going to give away 10 $100 shopping sprees, and the way we do that is we give them the list of all of our restaurants and retailers, which will obviously now include all of these Lake Barrington resources. And then we tell them, pick $100 at one place, or two places for $50 or 4 for $25. And then those winners, we will buy them. The chamber is investing in that purchase. We will buy them, and then we will give those to the winners. So we're getting a lot of activity about that. So it's all about that messaging. To continue to encourage people to spend dollars in their own communities. So I just wanted to mention that.
Well, you let us know whenever we can give the helping hand that you think is necessary, and not only for our business, but we want the region to be prosperous and successful too.
Absolutely.
So, thank you for coming by tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
President Richardson, before you move along, we have one other person in the audience, and he's the new fire chief of the Barrington Countryside Fire Protection District. He has accomplished an awful lot in a short period of time, and he's also working with us on our Thanksgiving promotion. But Scott Motise is the new fire chief of the Barrington Countryside Fire Protection District, and as I said, a lot has happened in a short period of time, so welcome, Chief.
We've been busy. Thank you very much. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Scott Motisi, Chief of Fire and Emergency Medical Services for the Barrington Countryside Fire Protection District. I think I've seen each and every one of you. I've served the Barrington area for over 20 years. As Trustee Schaller said, I took over as Fire Chief in May of 2023. I am proud to say that along with my district trustees, we've been able to put together a new operational staffing plan, which the Fire Protection District now has its own employees, and instead of being 100% contract. So with that being said, the goal is to, as I put it, recruitment by retention. I think that sometimes that's a little bit lost when we talk about recruitment, especially in public safety. With that being said, since June of 2023 until now, I have yet to lose a member of our organization, which I am very proud of. It's the first time in the history of our independent operation since 2013 that I can say that. We also, with the help of Lake Barrington and their zoning and building things, we now have a training facility that is behind our Station 38 as well, that is being utilized as well. And so I appreciate all the cooperation with the Village of Barrington as well. The district is here to serve Lake Barrington. We continue to be a avid neighbor. As Trustee Schaller said, we will be helping out with a toy drive and food drive that will be coming up soon as well. Right now, my goal is we are steadily putting on the right members for Barrington Countryside. We are very selective of who we are going to be adding to our family. I will say that the culture at Barrington Countryside is still to provide that excellence in service, and I believe with our operational plan, along with some modifications as well, we are able to achieve that. So I appreciate all of your support. I appreciate the support I get, and if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Well, first, Chief, congratulations, and know that you, as we were saying to Suzanne, and the two of you are actually two sides of the coin. The desire to locate a business here or live here depends on whether people feel safe, that's you and the sheriff, and whether they think there are amenities that benefit their lives, and that's Suzanne's job. So glad to have the two of you kind of back to back here, because it makes the case for why this region, notwithstanding the difficulties of the state, remains a very desired location. My neighbors had a problem years ago, and on the spot, my cousin, late cousin, trained all the EMTs in Lake County for many years, and I met a lot of them, and your business has changed so dramatically because she married a firefighter. Typical Irish family. The nurse marries the firefighter or the cop. And it's just astonishing how much technology has changed what you do. And so your focus on culture and workforce development and workforce retention, I hadn't thought about it, makes complete sense. Because you need a very specialized skill set to implement and use the new technologies that are part of firefighting. Is that a fair understanding?
It's absolutely fair. One of the things that is interesting is yesterday we mitigated a residential structure fire in the South Barrington area, and we get assistance from the Hanover Township Emergency Services, and they bring in a drone. So during this firefight, as the operations chief running the operations, we had a drone up within 20 minutes, and it was an infrared drone that showed, where the heat was, where the fire was, and where the fire was spreading, and I was able to be very proactive and get members of crews that were on scene in front of where the fire was going, and we were able to keep it to place of origin, which was the garage area, and pretty much save the rest of the house, which is an astounding success. It gives me the confidence to send my crews in that are on scene if I know that, quote unquote, there's not fire above them in a roof structure and everything like that. So you're absolutely right, Mr. Richardson. One of the sides as well that we are the reason, one of the things I did is I did a dynamic shift change with my position as well as far as title. I am the Chief of Fire and Emergency Medical Services. I think it's very important to understand that the fire service has become an all hazards style of an organization. It's not just fighting fires anymore. It's fire, it's emergency medical service, it's hazardous materials management, it's structural collapse, it's specialized rescue. It's real big on community risk reduction, which we are taking a very proactive stance with as well. So you start putting that all together, and when you talk about specialized, we are the masters of all, and we have to be. So with that being said, if I'm able to retain people that have that skill set, knowledge, and everything, and also the comfortability of navigating the jurisdictional streets as well as knowing the structures and stuff, it makes my job a lot easier, and that's one of the reasons that the unfortunate is contractual. No matter who it is, they don't have a home. They might work at Barrington Countryside, but they can't say it's theirs. And what I will tell you is that all of our members that are there now have a home, and they are Barrington Countryside. In fact, we brand, when you talk about branding and everything, you will see that we changed our colors on our apparatus as well to gray over red. It's a unique color scheme, but you will know that Barrington Countryside is helping you with this thing, with our thing. So I'm really big on branding. We changed on our monument sign. We made sure our logo was very big. We put on Pepper Road our patch right over our station. So when you talk about branding and everything, it's very important in the fire service as well for them to have a home with as well. So I didn't want to take up a lot of your time. I apologize. I know you have a lot on your agenda, but I did want to stop in and pretty much, as always, I'll stop in about every 3 months unless I am needed for that. But great stuff going on at Barrington Countryside. Please stop by anytime, trustees, and come to the station, come to the meetings. Trustee Schaller is a resident at our meetings, and it's amazing to have him. But please stop by. I'd be more than happy to give you a tour of our facilities and kind of what we have done. And you can kind of see the infectious, as we talked about infections, you can see the infectious culture that Barrington Countryside now has as well. So.
Chief, I'll see if any of my colleagues have questions for you.
Yes,
does anyone seek recognition for a question to the chief?
Other than just thank you very much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
And Chief, one of my clients is a K-12 school bus transportation company.
Yes.
Durham School Service is owned by National Express.
Yes.
They often donate old used buses to fire departments for that. I've been involved with some of that over the years. Just like the old yellow school bus a lot of us at this table took, the school bus today may physically resemble it, but it is nothing like the school bus that I took. The amount of technology in it. So I'm wondering, how much has the red fire engine changed since...
it has changed significantly.
What are some of the highlights of those changes? I'm more curious than anything.
Absolutely. So, you know, instead of valves and everything, I have almost, on average, I have almost a mile to a mile and a half of data, electrical wiring in each thing. It has now become pretty much a computer. And when we talk about pumping for water, instead of manual valves and everything, and now we actually have you know, we have governors and stuff that are electronic in nature. We have full airbag support. The electronic lights actually sync up with other, it can possibly even sync up with other emergency lighting on scene, so that there's a cadence that changes, so it's not so blinding, everything stays the same. So that's starting to come through as well. There are multiple companies that are creating electronic EV fire engines as well. That's starting to come through. Pierce is in Madison, Wisconsin. Madison, Wisconsin has a couple that are true electronic EV fire engines as well. We have definitely, when we talk about things, we have a fire engine that could drive up, you press a button, a drone comes up on a tether, does a 360, gets the full 360 view to a phone or a tablet of mine, and then just kind of falls down so I could get a full 360 view of what's going on as well. So the fire, and then when you talk about emergency medical services, we now have a device, instead of us doing CPR manually, we have a device that does it for us, so we're able to do a million other things as well. You know, and we are pretty much getting to the point now where we're going to be video conferencing with a doctor while on scene and everything too, to work on some things. So never ending, never growing, ever growing as well.
It's astonishing, and it makes you wonder what our grandkids will see.
I could only imagine. I mean, there's also drones that are firefighting as well. They'll go up to the 30th in Dubai. They have drones that have fire extinguishers on them, and then if there's a fire on the 90th floor of the towers that they have there, the drone will go up to the 90th floor, shoot the fire retardant into there. On our vehicles, we have what is known as an FST, so it's a throwable fire extinguisher that could put out a single room fire. So let's say I come on scene first, I start to do my 360, I notice in the back the kitchen is on fire, I pull a pin, I take this FST and I throw it in there, and it's able to dampen and darken and stop the products from combustion as well.
Well, Chief, we have a barn stomp every October, end of September.
Yeah, we do some practice there.
Yeah, and, but it occurs to me that it would be an interesting thing just for the children.
Absolutely.
And some of the curious parents to see how these vehicles have changed.
Absolutely. It would be our pleasure, and we'll make sure that happens.
They actually had a truck at our last barn stomp.
I was going to say, we had one, and, you know, I think that maybe you would, I think, any kid, you know, you're a kid at heart. You would enjoy to touch a truck.
My wife says I'm childish, not a kid at heart.
You're a boy, you know, boys see things like that.
See it.
Yeah, boys see things like that, and they're like, I gotta see,
Yeah, even
gotta touch
little
it.
bell.
Yeah,
I like
you can
gadgets.
crawl up in,
I like gadgets.
you get like
It
badges.
comes from the fact that I have no useful skills otherwise, and I would love it. I might show up at the station one day and just take a look
Stop on
around.
by. I'll be more than happy to take you out for lunch at the Onion to kind of increase revenue as well for the...
We're grateful for that as well, Chief. The doormats, the welcome mat's always out and the coffee's always on, so know that you have friends here.
Thank you. And just my final statement, I say it every time at the end of this, Mr. Richardson, go Irish.
We don't pay enough for your services.
No, that's actually by choice. That's not piece or so. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you guys. If you need anything, you know where Barrington Countryside's at.
God bless, Chief. Thank you much. Cheers. Trustee Hayes, I don't see the prior guest here.
No, they left, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 6 is the first opportunity in the agenda for the public to address the board on non-agenda items. There is no one here from the public, so we can move to agenda item 7, the consent agenda. We have several items here. A, approve the Village Board and Plan Commission 2024 regular meeting schedule. ILCMA 2024 Winter Conference. C, consideration of an independent contractor agreement with TPI Building Code Consultants, Inc. of South Elgin, Illinois, for building plan review and inspection services. These were discussed in committee of the whole. If there are no questions, then Chair, oops.
We need to change the June date for the...
Oh, thank you. So we're gonna take these in block, but with our amendment in block, which is that with regard to the 7A, the Village Board and Plan Commission 2024 meeting schedule, June 4th is being changed to June 5th for the Board of Trustees.
Yes.
Thank you. With that as a friendly amendment to the schedule, may I have a motion to approve as amended in block?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Perkins, seconded by Trustee Schalmoser. Thank you. And I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Yes. Trustee Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee Schalmoser? I'm sorry, trustee, yes.
Yes.
Trustee Burke?
Yes.
Trustee Hayes?
Yes.
Trustee Scheller?
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn?
Yes.
President Richardson?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Agenda item 8 is the treasurer's report.
Absolutely.
Whatever's comfortable, Peg.
8 weeks into my surgery, but I'm still not completely.
Oh.
What's all this?
You gotta get ready for golf.
And I do a bit of a cold, but I have tested twice as well, so I do not have COVID. Anyways, if I sneeze, I apologize. Okay, so we have your financial statements in front of you for the 6 months ended October 31st. So that means we're halfway through our fiscal year. Very exciting. Looking at the flash report on my page 2, which I believe is your page 54 of your whole packet. Our assets are at $3,398,000. Our liabilities at $357,000. Our equity is at $3,041,000. Total revenues at $3,017,000. Expenses are at $3,534,000, reflecting a loss of almost $517,000. When we pull out our extraordinary items, we come up with a net, sort of our net income, net ordinary income of $590,000. And that, excuse me, that's like $570. Sorry, I should put my glasses on before I came up here. And that compares to last year at $834,000. Now, we've talked about this each month. The reasons really haven't changed why there's a difference. Revenues are about the same. We have some expenses that are trending higher than last year, but nothing we haven't planned for. Page 3 and 4, these are some new reports you'll start seeing each month. I was reviewing the investment policy. I'm actually not sure why, but I was. And it looked like I should have been doing a little bit more reporting each month than I have been. So you'll see in each month, I won't talk about them, but they'll be in here for your review. My page 3, your page 55, same page number? Yeah, that's right. It shows all of our investments, our various investments, whether it be money market accounts, CDs at Bernardi, taxable bonds at municipal bonds at Bernardi's, and so forth. And then you'll see our various interest, income, and loss or gain on the securities. And then page 4 is actually showing you all the securities that we own. It shows you the day they were purchased, it shows the maturity date, it shows their cost, and it shows their market value at October 31st, and this will be updated monthly. I should have changed this. There was a column here for S&P ratings. You'll see some NRs there. I meant to change this, and I'm kicking myself I didn't now. That just means that they didn't have an S&P rating. There's a Moody's rating, which I do have as well, but I neglected to transfer that over. So I will make sure that gets done for next month. But all our investments are A, AA, AAA, I mean, so everything is really within the investment policy. There's nothing to be worried about there. Any questions on that, since it's the first time I'm presenting these different schedules? Okay, well, we can turn then to a look at the budget to actual report, and that is a few more pages in. My page, hold on one second, sorry. My page 14, your page 66. You'll see our revenues are at 62% actual to budget, so just trending slightly ahead of, up the halfway point. We do have revenues that are collected at the beginning of the year, so that does sway that somewhat. but everything's within expectation, nothing to mention there. On page 15, your page 67, expenses are 58%, 59% actual budget, seemingly trending a little bit higher. We have done most of the road work this year, so that's really going to pull that number up. And we do have some expenditure accounts that are running higher than budget. I have talked about those in the past. Reasons haven't changed, just, things that have come up that we have talked about or, have been passed at board meetings, so nothing of concern there. And then on my 16, your page 68, we do this once a quarter. We show a summation by vendor of what's happening in the road maintenance account. You can see Earl Road Construction, they've almost been paid about $1.5 million, and that's for the 2023 road program. That program has just about been paid out. I think there's a small retainage left. Chicago Line Paving, they've been paid out $397,000. I apologize, I should have worn my glasses up here. And that program has just about been paid out. That was the Hillside Hillview Drive improvements in the business park up there. Cuba Township, almost $23,000 in various smaller projects, whether it be culvert repairs or patching, signage, so forth. Another $79,927 to Cuba Township for the monthly contracts. And then Geske and Sons, we just had a small amount left on the 2022 road program, just $2,500. It was a small retainage that was left. And then you see Lake County Treasurer and State Treasurer for some small amounts there as well. So that's the quarterly summation of what we've put paid out in the road maintenance account in the general fund. Okay, moving on to the motor fuel tax fund, no activity in there as expected this year. We have about $300,000 in assets building up. We will spend that money potentially next year or the year after. We'll let that build for a little bit. So the income's coming in as expected, the MFT funds as expected each month, nothing to explain there. And then lastly, we'll move to the water sewer fund. That's on page 21. And the water sewer fund has, has net current assets in there about $1,850,000. Nothing unusual to mention activity this month in the account. I have similar reports on pages, investment reports on pages 24 and 25, your page 76 and 77. Because we have two funds at Bernardi. Each of the funds has their own investment account at Bernardi, and each of the funds has their own money market and certificates of deposit and so forth that are shown separately here. And then, once again, page 25 is a listing of each of the various assets in the portfolio. So that's all I have to mention before I get to the warrants. Are there any questions on the financial reports?
Questions for the treasurer?
Okay, then on the warrants, there's just a few to highlight. Aero Road Construction, and that's for the fourth payment, and that request is $72,906.88, and that's for the 2023 road program. HR Green, there's two smaller amounts, $2,006.42, and then $1,065.91, and that is for the 2023 road program construction oversight. Also, that is almost finished up. Kirby Cable Services for $2,350, and that was for boring a cable in the Wedgewood subdivision. I don't know if we need more explanation on that, but I think Village Administrator Peterson probably has that. Service Master for $4,009.94, and that was biohazard cleaning here at Village Hall. And then in the Water Sewer Fund, Gaziano Sewer and Water for $20,760.77. And that was an emergency valve repair at Kelsey and Route 14. And then there's just three invoices to mention on warrant B, and that's Cuba Township. I only mentioned that it's the first invoice we've received for salt usage this year, so you'll see those coming each month, but this one's just a small amount, $1,247.20. Phone Line Inc., and that's $2,450, and that's the cable work done at the Wedgewood Trails. And that's related to the Kirby Cable Service. They did the boring, and then Phone Lines did the work, the cable work. And then finally, I only mentioned Waste Management for $58,527.06. It is our last invoice to Waste Management, and we did net the yard stickers that were returning to them from that invoice. And that is all I have.
I appreciated the fact how you handled the transition of the yard waste stickers from waste to LRS. That, we use a lot of them because we have someone who helps with the yard, and made it easy. Very
Yeah, the
easy.
cost is a little bit higher for LRS, but we felt it was really worth it for the residents to do an even exchange.
It went down very well, I thought.
Oh, good.
Me. Questions for the treasurer? Okay, then,
I believe health insurance is under my...
yeah, I was going to say, why don't we talk about that now, and then we can do the A, B, and C in block after you talk about the insurance.
Okay, and I'll be quick. We did discuss this in committee of the whole. Staff is recommending that we keep the same insurance this year as we've had in past years for the village staff. There's a PPO option and an HMO option. If we look at current staff as it is right now, the PPO option will cost the village $24,000 for premiums, and then any of the deductible thereafter, a certain portion is paid by the employee. And for the HMO, the village cost is $26,900.
Yeah.
And that's for the current staff we have, so.
And as we discussed in committee of the whole, to use the abbreviation that council provided, we're going to choose option C.
This is something different, Kevin.
Oh, this is the employee health insurance.
Okay, I got that backwards. I'm sorry. I misspoke. Nope, that's my fault. Are there questions on the employee health insurance? My mistake. Thank you for correcting me. Okay. Then are we... Thank you, Peggy. Thank you very much. Then Chair would like a motion to approve in block agenda items 8A through C. A, approve the financial statements as of October 31, 2023. Pay bills in the B, pay bills in the amount of $181,916.96 as listed on the accounts payable warrant A dated December 5, 2023, and C, pay bills in the amount of $2,021,507.23 as listed on the accounts payable warrant B, dated December 5, 2023. May I have a motion in block?
So moved.
By Trustee Hayes, thank you. May I please have a second?
Second.
Trustee Perkins, thank you both. Clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Hayes?
Yes.
Trustee Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee Burke?
I got ahead of myself.
Yes.
Thank you.
Trustee Schaller?
Yes.
Trustee Schalmoser?
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn?
Yes.
President Richardson?
Okay, good. Yes, thank you, I'm sorry. Okay, agenda item 9 is the administrator's report.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, wait a minute, do we need to do...
We need for health
I got
insurance.
my agenda sheet goofed up, that's my fault. Chair, under agenda item 8D, 2024 employee health insurance, Chair would like a motion to approve the employee health and dental plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield as administered by the Better Business Planning Incorporated, and that the HRA and HSA be administered by Flexible Benefit Service LLC. May I have a motion?
So moved.
By Trustee Hayes, may I please have a second?
So moved.
By Trustee Perkins, thank you both. Clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Hayes?
Yes.
Trustee Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee Burke?
Yes.
Trustee Schaller?
Yes.
Trustee Schalmoser?
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn?
Yes.
President Richardson?
Yes, thank you. I messed that up. My apologies. Agenda item 9, Administrator's Report.
Thank you, President Richardson. I have one item this evening. This is just an update on the water and sewer rate RFP. We had sent out 5 RFPs to various engineering firms on November 20th. Unfortunately, by yesterday, we hadn't heard anything back from any of them. They are due on December 12th. I did send out follow-up emails to all 5 firms, and I did hear back from 3 of them that they will not be submitting. One of them was Christopher Burke Engineering, one was Black and Veith, and the other one is Applied Technologies. These names were recommended when we had our Committee of the Whole meeting, as well as we reached out to the Mayor's Water Council. They had made a couple referrals as well. So I'm hoping the other 2 submit. If they don't, we can always wait until a later date, or we could go with the original proposal that we had received back in October and had discussed. So that was just my update for that.
Questions for the Administrator?
I just have 2 questions. Can you update us as to what's the latest with the cell tower, and if anything is developed with regards to the entrance off Miller Road into the LBS Golf Course?
I can update you on the cell tower. What is going on with that is the representative for AT&T reached out to me a few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, wanting to know what the dates for the Plan Commission meetings would be and how would they go about to appear on the docket. I gave him the dates for the December meeting and the 2 January meetings, and then gave him the 15-day notification that we have to have the legal report put in the paper and the signs put up, and they have not gotten back to me yet.
Okay, all right.
And for the LBS, I don't have an update for you on that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I got to get used to hitting the button. Thank you, President Richardson. So relative to your question, Trustee Schaller, we did receive notice that there is a proposed settlement in that litigation involving the entrance into the golf club. I don't know if it's been finalized yet.
We have a special meeting tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so there are discussions as to that, and the trial was postponed due to the proposed settlement that is...
That has nothing to do, though, with the entrance off Miller Road.
So I must have misunderstood your question, I apologize.
No, this has to do with the entrance, the request to put a separate entrance to the golf course off of Miller Road.
Right, that is what I'm referring to.
No, the settlement has nothing to do with that.
Sure.
There were some emails back and forth between Manhart Consulting and Lake County Department of Transportation regarding that proposed entrance on Miller Road. Where it's been left is, I haven't heard anything since. Lake County's been very good about including me on their responses to Manhart Consulting. The latest email that I had, there was a proposed location map asking Lake County Department of Transportation if they were okay with that location. And that's where it is.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I have one question since you raised it. Who has jurisdiction over the final decision on any...
Well, there's two deciding bodies, and you can back me up on this. First, Lake County Division of Transportation, because they control Miller Road. It's a county road. However, LBS is governed by a plan unit development, a PUD, that was established decades ago. And it is likely, in the view of council, that even if county were to approve, the village would still have to be willing and then move forward with approving an amendment to the PUD.
That is correct.
Thank you.
So as a result, even if the county turns it down, it's done, over. If the county is willing to approve it, the village would still have to concur by taking an action to amend the PUD. And that would go to the Plan Commission for public hearings, and then this board would affirm or deny or reverse or remand the Plan Commission's decision.
Thank you. And just to clarify, the settlement had nothing to do with that issue.
Right, but it involves the same parties and entrance into the golf club.
Yes,
So
sure.
it is a collateral matter that addresses that issue and may cause them to not seek that.
Good, yes.
Yeah, that's correct. They may scratch their itch another way. They may scratch their itch another way. Let's see, where are we? We can move to the clerk's report. There is none tonight under number 10, so let's go to the standing committees. Branding and Comms, Trustee Van Ryn.
Thank you, President Richardson. We will start with LinkedIn. We're up to 158 followers, and that's up 4 from last month, so we're making nice progress there. We had our last post about the Bente Vintage grand opening. Wonderful attendance at that. So it's we get a lot of engagement on our social media when we talk about our local businesses, so we'll definitely continue to do that. Thank you.
Okay, 11B, Economic Development, Trustee Burke.
Yes, hello. Untimely with Suzanne being there and the discussion that we had, and she brought up the Domenico's closing, which is certainly very unfortunate, as hard as everybody worked to make that a reality. I wanted people to know that I've already reached out to the Domenico's. I'm hoping to sit down with them over the next couple of weeks and do what might be the equivalent of an exit interview talk to them a little bit more about the specific challenges that they faced, et cetera, because truthfully, and I don't want this to seem insensitive, with the body not being cold yet, but honestly, the most likely replacement business in that area is going to be another restaurant. So we need to prepare to woo the right restaurateurs, find the right opportunity, and make sure that whatever we've learned from this latest go-around with the Manicos is applied to that. And I think we're going to have a heavy hand in it, because it's really important that it's important to our overall business. It's important to that shopping center. It's important to DB and Venta that there is a thriving business that's anchoring that retail center. So I wanted to let everybody know that we will be on that and immediately seeking to figure out, and who knows, maybe John and Nick DeMonico will participate and have a hand in helping us determine possibly the next tenant there. So stay tuned. But even more importantly, I think it ties in with, in a very timely way, with the most recent retail sales tax analysis that Peggy provided me, and as she does so greatly each month. But the good news is, overall, while we're down month to month, September last year to September this year slightly, we're still up on a rolling 12 months. So that's great news. And we're keeping pace kind of with consumer price index. So we're holding our own in that respect. I think more importantly, we have pretty strong headwinds in gasoline, both with consumption and pricing being down. And we generate a lot of revenue from gasoline sales. So for us to continue to maintain and grow despite those headwinds, and despite losses in some areas of lost businesses, is a testament to the diversity of business that we have, and it's a testament to the growth that some of the newer retail establishments are enjoying. For example, Kelsey Roadhouse has become very, very successful, and that's a great success story. As something that's been around the village for a long time, and new ownership has really revitalized that and created some really nice trends in that area. So I think it's important to just reiterate that our plan is first and foremost to support our existing businesses, and then it's to draw new businesses into the village. And the diversity we create from that, and the excitement that we create from that, is going to help us continue to grow and hold our own in the retail sales tax revenue perspective. So much more work to be done, but I think the work that we set out, and Suzanne's an important part of that, and I'm glad that you all got to hear what she's working on, because it's very impressive. And I do think we have to make sure we engage with her and our retail community to make sure it's clear that the village is there to back everybody up and support them and draw customers and revenue and spending to our village. So that is my report for the night.
Terrific, thank you. Trustee, questions for Trustee Burke? If not, 11C, external relations, excuse me. Two items. One, the digitization project, which is not really external, but it's one that I'm spending time on, continues to move forward. I have not had an update since last month because I've been mostly out of town the last 3 weeks, but I'm satisfied based on what we've seen before that we're moving in the right direction. And I was with some other mayors, small town mayors, at an event in Gulf Park, Mississippi, I'm sorry, and everybody kind of said, gee, we'd like to see it when it's done, because others are struggling with this. The big cities have significantly built their own systems because they have the IT firepower, but small towns, there hasn't. I mean, our experience seems to be emblematic of what others have had. The other one was, I want to thank Peter and Therese separately, this cover letter for the newsletter. Therese and Peter both have provided some very, very helpful feedback. I've got a final draft of it that actually I finished on the plane home yesterday, and I did not have a chance to send it out to all of you today. I will send it to each of you. It's not nothing radical. You'll have a chance to look at it. Sharon, what's the publication deadline? When do we have to have comments back?
I had originally wanted comments back by this past Monday, but then I know you had said that you had another draft. So if we could have something, I would say maybe by Friday, so then I could get it to...
What I'd like to ask folks is, let's resist the urge, and I'm the most vulnerable to this urge, so I acknowledge that up front. Unless there's something egregiously offensive, let's not spend a lot more time editing this thing. Peter and Teresa and I have spent a lot of time on it, and we've tried to make it concise because it's not a lot of space on the page. And we wanted to cover the larger trends with individual examples that have been so egregious in the recent time. But I don't mind reading it to you right now, and it's going to be in the newsletter, so it's just, Dear Lake Barrington neighbor. The mayor's opening message of this newsletter typically focuses on the wonderful things happening in Lake Barrington, the peaceful, bucolic community we are all proud to call home. In this edition, the entire village board would like to share our collective view on a topic that is important to us and, we believe, to people in communities all around the world. We take immense pride in Lake Barrington, being quote, an oasis of gracious countryside living, but we cannot help but shudder over the crime, violence, and terror that is gripping so many other places, both home and overseas. Today we are shocked and repulsed by so many of the events overseas which are bringing misery and harm to innocent people. And closer to home, we are deeply unsettled by both the crime and lawlessness that seems to grip so many places around our country, as well as the frightening rise of anti-Semitism, especially on our nation's college campuses. As we look to the future, we must all recommit ourselves to opposing prejudice and anti-Semitism in all forms. Excuse me. We condemn violence and bigotry, and we believe the spirit of the season we now celebrate provides a pathway each of us can take in our daily lives to promote a better world. It is simply this: peace begins with each of us and how we treat one another. Small things can yield big results, and we all have a part to play. Lake Barrington is a beautiful place, not simply because of its exceptional physical environment. It is a beautiful place because of the people who live here. People who understand that violence and hate are never the solution, and that freedom, kindness, and respect are the keys to building lasting peace, both at home and abroad. We extend our warmest wishes to all of Lake Barrington's residents and business owners for a very safe and happy holiday season as we all pray for peace in 2024. So, Peter and Teresa, I want to thank you again. At work I've been put on a word diet and it's about ready to kill me. It's worse than giving up drinking. So, I'll send this out, but just try to get this back. Lynn and I are leaving on Thursday to go to a wedding down in Georgia. So we'll be back on Monday, but if you can get me comments, then I can tell Sharon on Friday, okay?
Perfect.
Stalk me on Friday.
I will.
Okay, that's my report. We'll go to 11D, Finance, HR, and Administration. Trustee Hayes.
Yeah, only thing I want to share is we've got 23 resumes in for the village clerk, administrative assistant, and then we're going to shift gears to the accountant in Peggy's position. So by January, we'll have that rolling. So we'll be doing interviews this month for that, and more to follow. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you.
Question, is the accountant role posted online?
No, not yet. We're going to get there.
Yeah, I figured after we started interviews, we would start, probably like maybe just around the first of the year, get that ad posted.
Yeah. We've had a lot on our plate, so it's been very busy with insurance and all those other things, so a little delay, but we'll get on it and it'll go quickly. And it's gone actually exceptionally well, so.
Oops, thank you. 11E, for Roads and Infrastructure, Trustee Schalmoser.
Thank you, President Richardson. Really nothing new to report. It's a slow time of the year for roads. Sharon and I are going to be meeting on the 19th to look at, I guess we'll call it the pothole tour around the town. And it's, we wanted to streamline the process. We reached out HR Green. They gave us a price tag, simply too cost prohibitive, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way and just review. And we're going to be starting at 8 a.m. at Pepper Park Coffee. A great place to start.
Make sure you have a very stiff suspension on the vehicle you ride in.
I do have I have a Jeep Rubicon, so yes, and it is four-wheel drive, so it'll be fine. Thank you.
I don't know, I lost track of time the last couple of days. We received a thoughtful, critical letter from a resident in Harbor Estates about our road program there. And what I was hoping is that I could request that you and Sharon come up with a draft response. It was politely written, unhappy, critical, but not ad hominem, consistent with the prior draft letter we seek to write. It wasn't ugly. It was critical, but not ugly. And so I think we owe an equally elegant response. And I'm going to recommend that the administrator and you, if you are interested and able to do so, go over and meet the resident. Good, fair communication merits respect and response. So I'll put that on your action item list to get me a draft after you and Peter collaborate on it, okay?
Okay.
Did you see that, Peter?
I did, and one of the points the resident made was the communication, right? And so you cannot over-communicate enough as you, with our garbage operation. Maybe in a mini way, we could do that for next year's street, schedule of repaving. Just one flyer, or maybe two.
Yeah, I think, there's small enough subsets of our village file where you can do number 10 business envelopes like we're doing with Wedgewood Trails over the Lake County Forest Preserve Miller Road thing. And it's the only thing that still gets still bothers me is we try so hard and yet we are not perfect and we will make mistakes, and this might have been such a case, and this isn't going to shock you guys. I have gotten lots of ugly communications over the years. This was not that. It was critical without being ugly. It was not personal. It was you all should have done a better job communicating. And you know what? I heard a slogan years ago when I ran congressional campaigns, worked on them. By the time your campaign slogan has been said enough that you're willing to vomit if you hear it again, it has barely penetrated the public consciousness. So over-communication is a good thing to build into everything. Okay, 11F, Public Safety, Trustee Schaller.
Thank you, President Richardson. Lieutenant Couric, would you care to join us and let us know what the latest scam for the holidays is these days, and if we have any ongoing issues of that nature, and anything else that negatively impacts the village and the community?
Good evening. The one scam that I'm seeing is what I spoke about last month is the packages on the doorstep. So if you know you're getting a package, try to get those packages off of your porch as soon as you can. There's people that follow these trucks around, whether it's UPS or Amazon or whoever, and try to take advantage of that. But we're getting calls pretty much every day, suspicious people, not necessarily in Lake Barrington, but across the county, of, people think their truck's being followed and, just some suspicious characters out there. But other than that, that's kind of all we're seeing, other than the usual financial scams done by phone and computer.
Do burglaries go up around the holidays? Or is it not tied to that?
I don't have that data here. I mean,
I'll give you a gentleman's guess.
We get burglaries across the county all year. Last year, I think, if you remember, we had that issue with it was the evening burglaries that were taking place in the nicer areas of the county. We had, and I think Lake Barrington had 1 or 2 of those last year. I haven't seen those pop up as of yet this year.
Thank you.
Things are under control, though.
Yes, sir.
A happy and safe holiday for the entire department.
And to you as well.
Thank you. As far as the Wakanda Fire District, they approved their tax levy, updated the ambulance billing ordinance, and they hired a new full-time employee to fill one of their vacancies. We've heard from the Barrington Countryside Fire Protection District, again thanking Chief Motisi for being with us this evening. Give us a great report of certainly a department that has made a lot of improvements in a short period of time, and that all is to our benefit because it provides us with greater safety, greater reaction, and just everything, so appreciate it. And our thanks to, again, the Barrington Countryside Fire Protection District. We put together this Lake Barrington Thanks Gifting Program to benefit the Cuba Township Food Pantry. That began last month. It will continue till Saturday, December 16th. There are 16 food drive boxes located at businesses now throughout the village. One here at the Village Hall, a couple of them over at Lake Barrington Shores, there's a couple of them in the marketplace. You have until December 16th to contribute non-perishable items there, or bring the kids to meet Santa between noon and 3 p.m. at the Kelsey Roadhouse, and the Barrington Countryside Fire Protection District will have a vehicle. They will have, we're going to bring all the boxes together, try to put them into a vehicle, and then take that vehicle over to the Cuba Township Food Pantry with whatever we have. But it's all free, and an opportunity to meet Santa. We have contacted Santa. He will be there that date. So obviously, Thanksgiving, we've gone through Thanksgiving, now gift and help the food pantry. There's a lot of activities going on. I know that Toys for Tots, there are a lot of collection. Bears have a coat drive, but obviously this is local. This is for the Cuba Township Food Pantry, so whatever you can do will be appreciated, and whatever, we would hope that you could all show up on December 16th at the Kelsey Roadhouse and help us put it all together. Thank you.
Trustee, questions for Trustee Scheller?
Yeah, how much did the Wakanda Fire Protection to raise their levy?
It was the maximum. It seems to me it was up 5%. They all go for the maximum tax levy. Huh? 499, yeah.
We did the same.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As opposed to the village that went up 0.
That's why I asked, just was curious. Thank you.
But they have a lot of personnel, believe me, both departments.
Well, they have CapEx that we don't have.
No, I understand. I just was curious. Thank you.
Further questions? If not, we can move to 11G, Open Space and Special Events. Trustee Perkins.
The only thing that I have is a little note that I got from Bill Bishop from the Veterans of LBS. He says, and I quote, "The Veterans of Lake Barrington Shores have just wrapped up their annual Toys for Tots campaign, and as usual, the community has been extremely generous. The toys will be delivered to the Marines early next week. Our organization has also recently completed the distribution of checks providing financial assistance to several veteran services organizations in Lake and McHenry counties." So, yeah, nice work. And that's all I got.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Questions for Trustee Perkins? If not, agenda item 12, there is no old business, so we can move to 13, ordinances. A, consideration of an ordinance updating the employee policy manual, options A, B, and C, as discussed in committee of the whole earlier this evening. B, consideration of an ordinance granting a zoning variation at the property located at 24477.
These are separate votes.
Right. I'm just reviewing the items. Brewster Lane and C, Tax Levy Ordinance 2024, and we'll take them one at a time. Thank you. We've discussed as a further conversation or discussion required relative to 13A, options A, B, and C. I'll just summarize to the best of my ability that we landed on option C with the understanding that there would be significant effort to move to a more hybrid approach later next year. I'm happy to recognize Trustee Hayes for further comment on that.
No, it's pretty straightforward. It's to comply with the new changes to the state law regarding personal leave, and then some updates, administrative updates to reflect current practice. And option C talks to how we accrue that personal leave, and it's going to be on an accrual basis. So that's the basis of that option C. The other two options fall in line with that, but we're different. So option C is what we talked about in the committee of the whole.
Addition of I'm gonna remember.
Table of contents.
Yes, that's the table of contents, removing the word pandemic from subsection 8.6. So version C with that one amendment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hayes.
Okay, then Chair would like a motion to approve ordinance number 2023-0-30, an ordinance amending the Lake Barrington Village Code, Chapter 6, quote, municipal officers and employees, quote, of Title I, quote, administration, quote, adoption of amended and restated employee manual. May I have that motion, please?
So moved.
Trustee Perkins, thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Was that Peter? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Clerk, will please call the roll.
Trustee Perkins.
Yes.
Trustee Schalmoser.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Hayes.
Yes.
Trustee Schaller.
Yes.
President Richardson.
Yes. Agenda item 13B, consideration of an ordinance granting a zoning variation at the property located at 24477 North Blue Astor Lane. Chair will recognize the administrator.
Yes, thank you, President Richardson. There was a Planning Commission meeting held on November 30th regarding this property. They are looking for a variance to the zoning code to build a patio and a brick paver patio and to build a deck. The current code requires a let me grab my notes. Sorry about that.
15.4.
Okay, 15.4 is a setback, and they are requesting to have a 10-foot setback on the side yard. The Plan Commission was in favor of this. It passed unanimously with one member absent, and it is before you this evening.
Questions for the administrator? If not, Chair would like a motion to approve ordinance number 2023-0-31, an ordinance granting a zoning variation regarding property of Ruth M. Litauer and Eric E. Litauer as trustees, 24477 North Blue Astor Lane. May I have a motion, please? So moved. By Trustee Schaller, thank you. May I please have a second?
Second.
By Trustee Perkins, thank you both. Clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Schaller. Yes. Trustee Perkins.
Yes.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Trustee Hayes.
Yes.
Trustee Schalmoser.
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn.
Yes.
President Richardson.
Yes. Agenda item 13C, tax levy ordinance 2024. We discussed this in committee of the whole. Are there any further comments? If not, Chair would like a motion to approve ordinance number 2023-0-32, an ordinance for the tax levy and assessment of taxes for the Village of Lake Barrington in the amount of $823,000. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
By Trustee Schaller, may I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Hayes, thank you both, gentlemen. Clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Schaller.
Yes.
Trustee Hayes.
Yes.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Trustee Perkins.
Yes.
Trustee Schalmoser.
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn.
Yes.
President Richardson.
Yes. Agenda item 14, there are no resolutions. 15, no new business. Agenda item 16, second opportunity in the agenda for the public to address the village board. No one seeks recognition. There is no need under 17 for a closed session. No other business under 18. Chair would like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
By Van Ryn and by Hayes. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.